Steve Schmidt goes on MSNBC, Stephanie Ruhle's show, and makes the argument that, you know, this Ocasio-Cortez win is another example of how both parties are going to extremes, and it's actually a very bad thing. So I don't want to put too many words in his mouth. I want you to hear for yourself. Let's take a look.
Once upon a time in American politics, it was a business of persuasion. You would try to persuade people that your ideas were slightly better than the other side. It has become a game of incitement. And what Trump is doing is radicalizing American politics. And he is a beneficiary the more radical politics becomes. When it becomes a game of incitement between a far left who says everybody's going to have a government job, everybody's going to have daycare, everybody's going to have retirement, free school, free high school, free college education, as we careen towards $30 trillion in debt. When we have dishonest progressivism, right? And we have dishonest Trumpism, an alienated middle that surrenders. They break their will to fight back. They become disenfranchised and hopeless about the idea that free market capitalism or liberal democracy can prevail in a radical era. That is the danger.
That was one of the best political ads for Ocasio-Cortez, because if you think that the people in the middle, undecided voters or independents, or even moderate voters, I'm saying, you think that they don't want daycare so they can go back to work and earn a living for their families? You think that they don't want retirement for everyone? You think that that's an unpopular political position? Are you stupid? You think that people don't want affordable education? He said free school, and I believe, if I heard correctly, free high school. You think that most people don't want that option? Like, what is wrong with this guy? No, it just shows you how incredibly out of touch these guys are. And then MSNBC, which is supposed to be left-wing media, has this guy on spewing this nonsense about how, oh, I mean, Americans don't want health care. Like, who wants health care or retirement? That's meant for the elites. Get out of here.
Okay, so this happens. Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk is all over it, and he jumps on Steve Schmidt on Twitter, and then Schmidt's trying to fight him off. He's like, "Okay, like I didn't know you came with a whooping stick," and so okay, so then Kyle does that, and then I couldn't resist. I jump in, and then Schmidt starts. He's responding to both of us, and he says, "Well, I mean, I didn't." I actually complimented her and saying that she did a good job. I didn't mean it as an insult. Wait a minute, you compared her to Trump and you said it was dishonest progressivism.
Yep.
I fail to see how that's a compliment. You could say the other parts were somewhat complimentary, but no, that is as bad a thing as you could say about any human being. Schmidt thinks Trump is so bad he left the Republican Party, so don't pretend that comparing someone to Trump is in any way acceptable or considered a compliment. No, it is considered a deep, deep insult, and you know that. Please don't be dishonest. So now, that's exactly the problem, Anna. MSNBC is the home of the establishment. So whether it's Steve Schmidt or it's Nancy Pelosi in a panic, saying, "Oh my God, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't represent the Democratic Party." The establishment doesn't like populism because that puts you guys in charge, and they're deathly afraid of you, and they don't believe in you. And so, when you talk about the priorities, and that's exactly what I came back at him with, because he said, "Well, it's totally unrealistic. It's dishonest because you can't afford it." So wait a minute. Of course you can afford it.
You can totally afford it.
The question is, what are your priorities? So the priorities the Republican Party just chose, the one you left about 3 minutes ago, was a giant tax cut for the rich. That tax cut now, by the way, polling at in the mid-30s because people have realized, oh, I didn't get it. You're right, you didn't get it. You know who got it? On average, the top 1% got a $61,000 tax break.
But they might trickle down on you at any moment. You never know.
Every year, the top 1% gets an extra $61,000, while Steve Schmidt tells you on TV that we can't afford education for your kids. And then he came back and he's like, no, maybe we could afford education. Yeah, that's right, you could afford it. You could also afford healthcare. You could afford all those things if A, you didn't constantly do giant tax cuts for the rich, and Schmidt might have been slightly against the Trump one. He was favorable for the Bush one though, and the Bush one was also trillions of dollars. And we could have afforded it if we didn't go into Iraq. And Steve Schmidt, you were for the Iraq war. Oops, there goes another couple of $1 trillion that could have gone to your kids and your family. But the establishment all agreed, including Joe Crowley, who lost. He voted for the Iraq war. They all agreed that we should throw it down the toilet in Iraq and lose all those people's lives. But hey, the oil companies, their prices spiked. They made a lot of money. Defense contractors made a lot of money, which they funneled to consultants and lobbyists, kind of like Steve Schmidt. So now he's talking about extremism. I would like to remind you guys who Steve Schmidt picked when he ran McCain's campaign.
Oh.
He picked Sarah Palin as the VP pick.
That's when Schmidt hit the fan.
Two easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.